The frustrations of people on the ground in North Carolina are real.
It is pretty horrible.
So we got our hands on a top secret address from a FEMA insider in Hickory, North Carolina.
I need your IDs.
I didn't bring mine.
I don't think you got it in the car. One of our undercover journalists even admitted to leaving her ID in the car, but she was still given a government visitor's badge.
Have fun.
So we're in the FEMA office right now. I'm James. How are you? James O'Keefe. How you doing?
You just said you had a meeting with them?
Yeah, we reached out to somebody. We were then shuffled to a room where we were greeted by a less than friendly employee who seemed a little on the edge.
Come on, guys. We're not playing games. I'm not doing an interview. You've shown up here without even calling me or telling me you're coming.
It was at this moment the security guards realized they messed up. We found ourselves on the hunt for any answers from FEMA after hearing story after story from Hurricane Helene victims who feel abandoned and say the so-called rebuilding process is virtually non-existent.
It is pretty horrible.
So we got our hands on a top secret address from a FEMA insider in Hickory, North Carolina. But before we take you there, where we had our hidden cameras rolling, let's recap. So far, our wild odyssey in North Carolina subjected us to an encounter with a robot-like individual who identified simply as Nicole, who reminded us of an artificial intelligence robot from Stanley Kubrick's movie Space Odyssey. We want to go film the work that's happening in North Carolina.
Unfortunately, that's not an option.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Nicole?
Al?
Great conversation, and I will respond to your email.
Nicole?
I'm just kidding.
Al?
It made me question, is this woman even real? Could I meet her in person? All of this after FEMA officials pushed us to call the 1855 number for information on recovery efforts. And if the Nicole call wasn't strange enough, along the way, we have been kicked out of multiple FEMA sites, including the Responder Lodging compound in Candler, simply for doing the job of a journalist, which is to ask questions. I have worked with a whistleblower inside FEMA who came out and said the bureaucracy was not helping people. But one common theme, each and every security guard who asked us to leave because they were protecting not just the FEMA sites, but the identities of FEMA employees from being published for fear for their safety, well, they all hail from the company Strategic Security Corporation. An insider provided us with a litany of documents that show contracts totaling more than $17 million from various federal agencies, including FEMA to Strategic Security Corporation. That funding beginning from April of 2021, continuing through April of 2026, and from October of 2024 to November of 2024 alone. More than $8 million went straight to Strategic Security Corporation. Again, follow the money. Now, about that secret location, after taking a more than 1 hour drive from the actual areas Hurricane Helene hit, we found ourselves in front of an obscure building that sits behind the Hickory Furniture Store in Hickory, North Carolina. As we entered these temporary offices that were specifically set up to support Helene recovery efforts, the first faces we saw yet again, guards from Strategic Security Corporation. How you doing? Looking for Tom? Tom McCool?
I know Tom McCool.
You know Tom? Tom McCool. Exactly who we were there to see. He's the executive leader for FEMA.
Yeah. Pocket knives, weapons, anything like that?
No.
Switchblades, chainsaw. I need your IDs.
After making a less than thorough weapons check, the time came to check our IDs. One of our undercover journalists even admitted to leaving her ID in the car, but she was still given a government visitor's badge.
I didn't bring mine.
I don't think you got it in the car.
No, you have yours.
Yeah, I've got it. It's all good. Yeah. To our surprise, these supposed guards, which FEMA is spending millions of dollars to pay, didn't provide the protection that they promised. I showed them my New Jersey ID with the name James O'Keefe on it, and they didn't even look. They gave me an official visitor's badge as well.
What department is he in? Or do you know where he's at? I don't know where he's at.
Upstairs. On this side, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Okay.
thank
If you want
you.
to take him up there, go for it. Have fun.
We were then led through a labyrinth of government offices in the Bureau before we arrived on the second floor.
So we're in the FEMA office right now. He's on the top floor?
Oh, there's only two, so.
Oh, there's only 2 floors here.
So where are y'all from?
I'm from New Jersey.
As we walked through the halls of the government bureaucracy, we noticed cubicle after cubicle. One of the questions we asked ourselves walking through this labyrinth of government bureaus is, what exactly are these people doing? And why aren't they out in the field helping these people? So how is it that the security company that FEMA has tasked with securing one of their makeshift offices, allowing me, James O'Keefe, all the way up to see Mr. Tom McCool?
You have a moment? I'm James. How are you? James O'Keefe. How you doing?
The moment I had waited for. Meet Tom McCool himself. McCool is the National Federal Coordinating Officer. He's responsible for the leadership and overall management of the federal response to and recovery from presidentially declared incidents like Hurricane Helene.
We're part of a news organization here. We'd love to have a few words with you, if possible. Or
and you're from where?
From OMG, name of the organization. I don't know if it'd be possible to do an interview to talk about what's going on, and we'd love to talk to you if you have a minute.
Yeah,
we're outside, but
yeah, I'm gonna call right now.
Oh, I see.
But
Okay.
just stand by, and I'm gonna get somebody up here to talk with you right now.
All right.
A quick observation of McCool's office walls, utilizing our hidden camera lens, we noticed various work assignments and diagrams labeled with numeric zones.
Some of the things that we're hearing about in the area, the people are not getting the help that they need.
Yeah.
We just want to be able to.
Where the cars were going,
Yeah.
like where they were actually.
Absolutely understand.
Yeah.
Understand. Stand by, right?
Yeah.
Perplexed by the entire situation that was unfolding right before my eyes, things got even more bizarre as Tom McCool and I started chatting about New Jersey, my hometown.
Are you from North Carolina?
From New Jersey.
New Jersey?
Originally. Yeah. Rockland County, Bergen County.
I was gonna ask
border.
what exit, but
What? 168. 168. Last exit on the Parkway.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Fort Dix for a little bit.
Fort Dix.
Yeah, that's exit 7.
Exit 7. There you go.
It soon became clear that Mr. McCool was not getting into specifics about any Helene recovery efforts. And just like that, security seemed caught off guard, asked if we had a scheduled meeting, which of course, none of this was scheduled. What happened here is sad. These high-priced security guards failed to do their jobs, and I made my way to top FEMA brass, who appeared to just be hanging out. And to be clear, I had no appointment. One of our undercover journalists even admitted to leaving her ID in the car, but I was wearing a blazer.
Said you had a meeting with him?
Yeah, we reached out to somebody, but perhaps he wants us to speak with somebody else now.
We were then shuffled to a room where we were greeted by a less than friendly employee who seemed a little on the edge.
So what exactly is FEMA then doing on the ground? Instead of being in offices, I thought they were out in the community helping.
We have some teams who do that as well. They're called disaster survivor assistance teams. Like, we can try and do an embed to let media go with them. We kind of do that, but we don't just tell people a lot where they are because we've had a lot of security issues this disaster.
Oh,
What do you mean by
really?
security issues?
Come on, guys. We're not playing games. I'm not doing an interview. You've shown up here without even calling me or telling me you're coming. We could have arranged an interview. But you know, this entire disaster, there's been so much hatred on social media towards some of our staff and people sending threats that we've got to be careful. I'm not giving you an exact location of where someone is.
After this feisty exchange, another FEMA employee summoned to the room.
Well, hey, hi. I've got reporters here. They want to set up like an interview to talk about our DSA teams, kind of how they canvass the areas.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Nicole.
Oh, nice meeting you, Nicole.
Yeah, you too.
That was the 855 number that we had called. Is that the same thing as the news desk?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And is that based out of this location or?
Yes.
Nation? Okay.
As I listened to the voice of this woman, it became increasingly familiar. as if I'd spoken to her before on the phone just days earlier.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the lady that we spoke to.
And who are you with?
My name is James O'Keefe.
And
I'm
you're
with the
with?
OMG News. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We got a big online presence.
Okay.
And it was at this moment that I realized that this woman was Nicole, in the flesh, the person who I'd spoken to just days before, who had striking similarities to Hal from the Space Odyssey. This wasn't a robot, this is a real human being. Their voices were the same. I had found Hal in the flesh. It turns out her full name is Nicole Wilson. She is a public affairs specialist for FEMA Region 4, and she, along with her colleague Lea Crager, told us that FEMA is helping survivors, but they can't disclose specific locations. They also told us that the $750 FEMA awards to storm victims is just to pay for daily necessities as people get back on their feet.
So the $750 fee that people get, is that the only assistance monetarily wise that people get? I'm a little confused about that.
No, so as of today, we've got about $247 million in the hands of North Carolina survivors. That's about 135,000 households that have received that assistance. So what that 750 is right after a disaster, you lose everything. We want to make sure you have some money to get food, water, buy your baby some diapers, formula, while we review your case to see what other additional funding you may be eligible for. That's what that is.
And again, we were given more business cards and told to email more individuals for information, even though we were right there, right in front of these FEMA executives' faces. As we saw things weren't getting very far, we couldn't help but imagine the runaround storm victims are getting from FEMA if we were getting run around. After less than 30 minutes and hardly any answers, we were escorted back to the main lobby, where we headed for the parking lot, still in shock.
Thank you.
Where did you place?
I didn't have mine.
Which one is?
It was at this moment the security guards realized they messed up.
We got inside, deep within the bowels of a federal complex. That's crazy that all the security, but he's just in his office chatting to me about like what exit I'm from New Jersey. Like, what exit? Just straight up, the security guys, they were just like, I guess you have an appointment. I didn't say an appointment. I just walked in because I had a blazer on. That shows you how competent they are.
Now it was time to try to understand how I was able to get up to Tom McCool's office, and those answers we hope would lie in the hands of this man, Joe Sorty, the CEO of Strategic Security Corporation, the boss of all these armed guards who we've met along the way.
Hey, is this Joe Sorty?
Yes, this is Joe. Who's this?
Hey, this is James O'Keefe. I'm just calling you about FEMA awarding the contracts for all the security to this firm that you are in charge of, Strategic Security Corporation. Well, I'm a journalist. We're doing a story about the company and awarding all the contracts and the guards who kicked us out of these different locations, these responder lodging locations in North Carolina. I'd like to talk to you.
Right, you'd have to send your immediate inquiry over, and then we can get back to you. Are you a YouTube journalist, or what are you a real accredited journalist from an actual accredited institution?
Can you help me understand what it means to be an accredited journalist?
Like you work for the Times, the New York Press, Reuters, Fox.
Okay, and those are real journalists in your view?
Okay. Sir, I'm
trying to follow your instructions. I'm trying to understand your instructions. What you accredited?
Your instructions are very simple. If you'd like a media inquiry,
I will do that. And when I send that email to HR@SSCCTU, that's TangoU.com, in Hickory, North Carolina, there is apparently a FEMA headquarters, and I believe you guys man that location, correct?
I'm not at liberty to comment at any time on any operational security matters that we have as a company without fact verification and without verifying who you are and your credentials.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
We emailed Sorty just as he requested and have yet to hear back. maybe because there's no reasonable answer to our question. The frustrations of people on the ground in North Carolina are real. And as the holidays approach, for Helene victims, there will be no countdown to Christmas, but instead a countdown to when there may be some reprieve from the cold nights and tents and the constant efforts to rebuild the place they call home. In recent months, many of our fellow Americans experienced unprecedented natural disasters and damaged infrastructure, making access to healthcare essentials impossible at the very moment it was needed. When disaster strikes, being prepared is your best defense. And now I'm excited to share with you the brand new Field Emergency Kit from our friends at the Wellness Company. The ultimate survival kit for any situation where medical help is not an option. Inside this rugged, waterproof case, you'll find essential medications that cover over 60 conditions that you can encounter, along with a detailed 85-page doctor-written guidebook. This ultimate kit includes amoxicillin, an essential for treating bacterial infections, and antivirals and antiparasitics like hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, medications that are critical in situations where you're exposed to respiratory viruses or parasites. And for those facing potentially life-threatening allergic reactions, the field kit includes epinephrine, the generic EpiPen, along with vital first aid supplies such as tourniquet and wound and burn treatments. Natural disasters are happening at record rates, so I urge everyone to get the ultimate field emergency kit from our friends and supporters at the Wellness Company by going to twc.health/OMG, twc.health/OMG, that's twc.health/OMG. And now you can save 15% just by using code OMG at checkout.